There we go. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. I want to start this morning by giving a big welcome to our newest agent. Just signed on to the Burien office yesterday, Brandon Phillips. He's not on today, but he'll be watching the recording in a little bit. When you meet Brandon, please be sure to welcome him to the team. And he's going to be a great addition. He's got a lot of good energy. He's got a lot of great ideas on what he wants to do and how he wants to grow his business right off the bat. So super excited to have him. I think Brandon is our 10th addition this year between the offices. So we have another year that is off to a great start on growth and bringing in people that have really good energy that are building their business. And I just can't wait to get to the time where we can kind of get back and physically in the same spaces so that we can feed off of this great energy that we continue to bring in over the last couple of years, even through the pandemic. So pretty exciting. Brandon, welcome to the team, man. Zach Toder today. Some of you saw my email earlier. He was unable to join us. He is in the middle of physically moving and thought that things were going to be a little bit different than they were. And in the chaos, he's just like, there's just no way this is not going to be healthy. So we will get him back on hopefully real soon here in the near future. Talk about the landing pages. Not sure what happened. I've got to echo myself. Hold on a second. Maybe that'll do it. Yep. All right, cool. So just a heads up, that will be coming soon. Reminders, first of all, get your photo taken. If you are planning to come to Louisville with us next year, we really want to put you up on the wall. I know we've got one great photo. I don't know if it's up on the wall yet in West Seattle, but we need more. Burien, we've got a lot of great photos up. So make sure, stop by, talk to your OA, get a hat on your head, take your photo with your I'm in flyer, and let's get you up on the wall. Also, just a big thanks. The email that I sent last week was the driving force behind a huge number of responses with your slogans and things that you wanted to put with your photos for us to use on social media and start boosting and doing all kinds of stuff to promote you, the individual agents, on our company social media platform. So really, really cool. Thank you so much for that. If you have not sent one yet, it's not too late. It's just first come, first serve. So you'll go to the end of the list. It's great. We'll definitely get you on and be promoting you personally. So there is still time to do that. If you want to send an email into Maria Fleming, that would be amazing. She would love to have that, and we can get that up and going for you. Also, I want to mention, I was talking to an agent yesterday who held an open house this weekend. House was $1.2 million, and the agent sitting it for another agent of ours. It was not the listing agent sitting it. Went ahead and sold it to somebody that came in. Just saying, a $1.2 million sale on an open house. Now, does it happen every open house? No, it doesn't. Does it happen all the time? Yes. Yes, it does. It does happen often. Whether they buy the house that's in there or you go show them some other houses and you find it, business is gotten from open houses. And I think a lot of us have found it reasons maybe to do fewer open houses, and maybe there might be the right time to find reasons to start doing those open houses again and putting that into your business plan and getting those in weekly, if not multiple times a week. There's no reason that you can't be doing all the busy work that you need to be doing from an open house, right? Between people coming in. So at any rate, $1.2 million open house sale. Gotta like that. That's if you're doing the math at home, what is that? $36,000 commission. If it was a 3%, I'm not sure what it was at, but it's not bad. It's not bad. Worth your time? Yeah. Worth playing? Yeah, I think so. Farmers Market in Burien is starting up. So this is for Burien agents only. The 6th of this month. There was an email that went out yesterday by Nalani. If you want to get signed up with shifts there at the Farmers Market and learn more about that, check the email that you got yesterday in the afternoon from Nalani, and or just go talk to Nalani and she'll get you set up. So good opportunity there. Also, this morning just hit your inboxes at 9:38 this morning from Jason Waugh. What was it? Anybody? No, you don't have to come off of mute. It's your quarterly reports. First quarter report from the company came out. It's beautiful. It's fantastic. Use it, boost it, share it, send it to your SOI. This is an item of value that you should be implementing as one of your touch points every single quarter, 4 times a year. You get to touch your clients in a very meaningful way with something that looks amazing and gives them a lot of really good in-depth information if they want to dive into what's going on in the real estate market. It also gives you a really good touch point to talk to them. So please be utilizing that. It is a great resource, and it's in your email. Again, from Jason Watt this morning at 9:38. Also, the IQ network. Okay, we know at convention, we've heard enough. We've heard a little bit IQ here, this network, what. Some of us have gone through the training. Some of us have gone to, have checked it out. You need to go check it out if you haven't already. I've got, between the two offices, right? You know this, about 150 agents, something like that, a little less. But I can see who has opted in and who has not. So I can tell you right now that Jennifer Huggins, she opted in. Ramon Myers, he's in, right? I've got Samantha Tesson. Yeah, she's in. Tanya Lorella, she's in too. I can also tell you who isn't opted in yet, but I won't. I'm not going to say who has not opted in yet, but you know that you haven't opted in if you have not gone on the National Resource Center, logged in, and then gone to the IQ Network tab there. Okay, there's a little box, very, very clear. You cannot possibly miss it. Go click on that and opt into the IQ Network. All right. Now, yesterday, a lot of you saw a bunch of emails that were kind of flying around in the last couple of days. I'm not exactly sure what happened with the technical difficulties there. No big deal. They'll get it ironed out. The point of all the emails and the invite to the class that we had yesterday, we had, that was for our entire Washington and Oregon group. There was, I saw at one point, there was 179 agents that were on that training yesterday. So if you felt like, hey, not a big deal, I can skip it. No, kind of a big deal. You really do want to attend these IQ trainings, all right? Now, that one was recorded and will be made available very soon. So watch your email for that. Those emails are going to come from a new email name. Let me see here. Keep an eye out for training and business development is the email address that's going to come from. Training and business development. All right. We're going to be doing more things as a whole company, more trainings, more opportunities to get more information and knowledge spread. So watch for those. But especially and specifically, each week, Paul Frank, the managing broker of our Puyallup office, will be doing another training on the IQ Network. Each week it'll be different. It'll be on a different portion of it. Those trainings might be anywhere from 15 to 30 to 45 minutes to 60 minutes long. And the invites will say how long those ones are intended to be, right? Depending on what it is that he's covering. But make sure Mondays at 2:30, just put it in your calendar, right? That you're going to have an IQ Network training. It will get you familiar with what's going on in that system and how to utilize it. It's something that's just started and it's going to grow. And if you were there yesterday and listened to Paul talk, it is something that has all kinds of tentacles and will just continue to grow and create new opportunities and things for you. So keep an eye out for that. Keep an eye out for any email that says training and business development training opportunity. Training and business development, those will be training opportunities for you, right? That you'll want to lock in on. And make sure that you catch the first IQ Network thing. Go log on and opt in. I want to see our numbers get up. We've got a lot of people in, but not nearly enough. All right, that's all for that. Nicole Giamatti is with us today with Equity, and Nicole is going to share with us a little bit about what's going on with earnest monies being released and the mess that this is kind of causing in some different ways and some things to pay attention to. So Nicole, give me just a second and I will share my screen here so that everybody can see the form that you sent over. All right, perfect. I think you've got it now on your screen, yeah?
Yes. So good morning, everybody. Just, wanted to share with you some things that we're seeing on the closing desk, like Tay mentioned. And one of the things is we are seeing a large amount of files that are coming in now where earnest money needs to be released immediately. So one thing with that is that it needs to be, I'm seeing a lot of forms that come in that say earnest money needs to be released immediately, but it's still being checked that it's going to be a personal check or a cashier's check. It really needs to be a wire if we're going to release earnest money immediately. But also this particular form that came in. So this form came in on a transaction, and on page 1, just to give you a little bit of the story that goes with it, on page 1 of the transaction, it said that the earnest money was $10,000. And then it was crossed out in initial that the earnest money was $20,000. A few pages back in the contract was this form here, which goes over that earnest money is non-refundable in the amount of $10,000 needs to be released immediately. I'm sorry, it doesn't say immediately, it says within 2 days to the seller. Well, the $20,000 of earnest money came in, and the listing broker called to ask where was the additional $10,000 of earnest money. And then she directed me to this form, which I actually in my mind, thought that this was how we got from 10,000 to 20,000. And that's actually what the selling broker thought as well. But this form wasn't that. It was actually still the earnest money was 20,000 as it stated on page 1. And then because of this form, there was an additional 10,000, which was taking the earnest money to 30,000. Well, in this particular situation, the earnest money funds were, it caused the buyer quite a bit of stress because 1, they weren't prepared to bring in the additional 10,000. 2, it was also gift funds. And then also it was a stress for the lender too, because that was not part of their approval, was this additional $10,000 coming in. So it was just a stress all the way around, but we have actually seen a couple transactions where this has played out and it's actually making deals fall apart. And then we've had one deal where this played out and this buyer was so upset that they asked the agent for a credit because they just simply didn't understand and they felt like the agent didn't explain to them what this form meant, and the agent themselves and just speaking with them wasn't really, I mean, this form to me is new, so I'm guessing it was new for them too, but really didn't understand what it meant. But this form looks like a Northwest MLS form, but it is not an MLS form. And I just noticed, and I was talking to Tay and the other managing brokers on our leadership call, that I'm noticing more and more forms as things are moving fast and, buyers, are trying so hard to get their offer accepted and they're signing off on things and they're just wanting to get right back in front of that seller that, yes, they agreed to everything. But then when it comes to closing and they start really looking into some of these things, they're really getting upset. And that's resulting in more and more of buyers asking for agents to give them a credit, or I see agents just offering credits to help soothe their client. And in some cases, it is making the deals fall apart. And, as I will always just openly say, there is a selfish reason to this too. If the deal falls apart, we are not always guaranteed that equity is going to be on the transaction when it comes back together. I'm certain that there will be another buyer. There usually is to every transaction, but that doesn't mean that equity is going to be on it. And we would love to close the first deal for you. So I just wanted to bring this up to be aware of this and question it. I did run it by all of the managing brokers, and Paul Frink from Federal Way brought out that this form is very contradictory. So there's that, but that's not escrow's place to point that out. It is something to maybe note. And Tay, maybe you can speak to that a little bit too. Paul was also saying that it's better to talk about the forms before they're signed, because once they're signed, then you're giving legal advice because you're in a binding contract. So I know everything's moving fast, but I can just tell you there's a lot of things that are coming up right now, this being one of them. And if I could just detour just a hair to say that another thing that we're seeing now is a lot of people just saying that the buyer will pay the seller's closing cost. That is a very, very, very generic statement. It means so many things to so many different people. In one sense, to me, it means title and escrow premium and possibly a recording fee if, say, a seller had a recording fee for a power of attorney or something like that. But to other people, it means a lot of different things. It means prorations. It means for taxes, for assessments. It means excise tax, and all of these things, just so that you know, they need to make it to the lender, and sooner rather than later. To me, in my opinion, they should be a conversation that you're having with your loan team up front. I know for certain, I just heard Kara say that she was available over the weekend on the last call that I was on, and I know that Mark, he's personally working with my daughter, and he just told her he's available on the weekend if she has any questions at any time. It's really important that we loop them in, because I'm finding that not with our lending team, but just lending teams in general, that they're finding out when escrow is telling them, oh no, it's part of the contract. The buyer has agreed to pay all the seller's costs. Well, that's a disclosure issue for the lender if they have to, the buyer has to take on and start paying the seller's title and escrow fee even. So that can be resetting that disclosure time. And I have seen transactions fall apart because of that too, because sellers don't want to extend. So just to keep those things in mind, and I'm available if you have any questions on any of those, because these are hot right now.
Yeah. Here, I'm going to unshare real quick and bring this up. There is a lot to unpack in all of that. And when Nicole shared this the other day, we're like, holy holy crud, right? There really is a lot of ways to really get yourself in some big grief. And we know this, right? And we know that right now, we've talked almost ad nauseum, right, over the past weeks about all of these dangerous things that are happening. Annie Fitzsimmons has a series of videos. It's like 200 videos long now. It's not, I think it's like 7, but of dangerous practices and things that people are doing right now that are putting everybody at legal risk. Everybody. And everybody means us, you, as the agents, 100%. This form, holy cow, when did you get a good look at the top? I mean, it looks, like you said, like an MLS form, and it is not. And this is the quintessential reason that we don't, as a company, pop out forms like they're Pez. We're just not we're not going to do it, because what happens is you think you have a form that says one thing and it doesn't. It says something else to other people, and you've got contradictory things. You have things that make no sense. And all of a sudden, you're in a liability situation. I've said it before. I'll say it again. The company forms that we are seeing in the marketplace right now bring a false sense of security far more than they bring anything of true value. And I know that we have to work within these things, and I know that offers have these forms and everything else, but we got to be super, super careful. We got to be really communicative with our buyers and our sellers about what's going on and what the forms mean or what we think they mean. We got to be really communicative. There's never been a time that you need to pick up the phone and talk with the other agent more than you need to talk with the other agent now. You have got to have conversations and get on the same page about what things mean and what's intended with some of these forms and what's going on. And then we have to remember that at the end of the day, if we're releasing earnest money, that's Annie Fitzsimmons will tell you straight up from a legal perspective, there's not a mechanism to do that. That's not a real thing. We're making it a real thing. The escrow companies are going to do whatever it says on that contract, whether the contract is bunk or not, right? Like Nicole said, it's not escrow's job to say, well, this isn't a very well written or not confusing contract. That's not their job. Their job is to do the best of what they can to decipher what it says and then to act on it. That's what both parties are asking them to do. But if we're asking them to do things that just don't exist, like a credit to the seller, or a deposit, as Andy will put it, that's just not a thing. And you're going to find yourself at some point, maybe not you, but maybe the person next to you will find themselves in a position where there is really uncomfortable situations happening. So at any rate, again, I can't stress enough, please ask questions, be communicative, pay attention. And, the more that you talk with people, the more that everybody at least will get on the same page. I don't know. What do you think, Nicole? Any words of wisdom?
I think just adding in that, just reminding sellers that if earnest money is being released to you, it doesn't mean it's your earnest money. That's another thing that, is a lot of sellers feel like earnest money being released to them is a credit from the buyer to them, and it is not. And that also can create confusion and also can create hardship if they go and spend the money, and the deal doesn't go through or something. I mean, it is not their money. So it just creates a big ball of confusion. I did, if earnest money is going to be released, then that's fine. But I know that there's multiple ways around earnest money being released, and just having them understand it's still held in escrow. Just like you said, the communication is key on it.
Yeah. In all honesty, I really can't see a scenario where I, as a listing agent, want my seller getting earnest money released to them early. It is such a mess. And again, what happens when the money's released early and then it doesn't come together and everybody's ticked off and the seller says, see you later, and is no longer able to be gotten a hold of? How are you going to get that money back? You're going to take them to court? Okay, great. Good luck. Have fun. Right? This is not stuff that we want to get involved in. Barb is asking, if the earnest money is non-refundable, how is that? How is it not the seller's? Barb, that's a great question. And the answer is because there are other things in the contract most of the time that allows that seller or that buyer to get that earnest money back. Non-refundable is contradictory to what other parts of the forms, other parts of the contract say that both parties are signing. So you're creating completely contradictive legal documents. And then you have a fight, then you have an argument, then you have people that are upset, and then you have go to court.
There's also, which Paul mentioned on his last call too, and Tate, maybe you can speak to this, that
Yeah.
only so much the seller is only entitled, even if they can get earnest money, they're only entitled to so much.
That's right.
So
That's right. There's a limit on how much they can even keep. But again, if it's released to them, good luck getting it back. And when it's not gotten back, guess who's going to look to you? And this is why, well, like Nicole said, people are looking at their agents going, give me the money, get it back. I want it back. Right? The contract says I have it back. I didn't totally understand, whatever it is, right? And maybe they didn't totally understand. Deb, you got a question? Go ahead.
Are firms reaching out to the MLS or NAR or somebody at a higher level to just stop this from happening in the first place? Because when we're representing buyers, this is happening, and we want our buyers to get the property. So we explain I'll explain things fully on what this means, and then they, after so many offers and you missed out, you want to do this because you want to get it.
Yeah.
So if it wasn't allowed in the first place, that would stop this crazy train that's way down the track.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that's part of the problem is it's a crazy train already too far down the tracks. Oh. But I don't know. I don't know the details. I don't know who's doing what. I really don't know what's happening behind the scene. I just run a humble real estate office or two. And we do the best we can with what's happening around us. But in terms of what people are doing and what things are in place, we're not the only ones that are looking at this going, whoa, there's a big monster, right? It's not like we're the only ones that have discovered this as being a massive issue. So I would imagine that there are things happening, but the people that know how that stuff functions and what can be done and what can't be done and how it's done, I'm hoping that somebody is paying attention if there is something that can be done to slow the train. Yeah. Nicole?
I would just say, if we could just say just a couple things to sellers that are holding earnest money. If you are going to hold earnest money, one, remember it should stay there until the deal closes in your account. It should not be spent. And two, it's going to show as a debit on the settlement statement to you, because those are things that sellers just do not understand. It's a debit because you're already holding the money. So it's not in that it's not going to show, it's not a credit from the buyer to you, seller. And if we could just get them, if we have to be down this crazy train, if we could get them to understand those few things, I think it would really help at closing and really help with people feeling like they weren't fully educated about what it meant for them to hold their earnest money.
Yeah, that's great. That is great. Yeah. Very, very good. Nicole, thank you very much for that. I appreciate your time. It's so super helpful and valuable. And, again, it's just, we got to hear what's going on. And, I would much rather hear about somebody else's issue than one of ours, right? So I'd like to hear somebody else's, and then we make adjustments and be prepared and for that sort of a thing. So awesome. Nicole, thank you. Thank you. All right. Let's see, really briefly, Tanya, are you, Lorella? Tanya, are you on?
I'm here.
Awesome. I asked Tanya to jump on, and she is fantastic. She has been telling me about, and I signed up for this app called Clubhouse, and I don't totally understand it. So I asked Tanya, I know that a lot of you are on it, but I just thought, okay, Tanya can kind of speak to what this is, but it's an app that gives you opportunities to hear what different people are doing in real estate around the country, speaking about, lead generation and all kinds of topics. And I know that a lot of our agents are utilizing it. Tanya, can you give me just a brief, can you explain to us what this is?
Well, it's a new app that came out last year in the fall, and it's an audio-based app, which is live, and it's interactive. It's by invitation only, and one of the downfalls, it's only iPhone users. They don't have it for Androids and whatnot yet. You go on there and you can choose what you want to hear about. Basically, it's not only real estate. There's all kinds of different platforms, but what I've been using it for is obviously real estate. They give you marketing ideas, and there's motivational speakers. I was on there one time and Tom Ferry was talking, and there was a room with, 2,000 people when he's giving his advice and what to do and whatnot. It's great for new agents and experienced agents. people from across the country. It's great for networking. The rooms have things like, I don't know how to explain it. You go into a room, you can listen to people, and if you have a question or want to interact, there's a little button, you raise your hand, and then you can give your 2 cents.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other thing is that it's an invitation only. So you have to know somebody to invite you to the clubhouse.
Nice. Now, you know plenty of people in your office that are on Clubhouse. I'm sure you can ask around or shoot an email, and people will tell you who's there and they can invite you. The app is called Clubhouse. Okay, yep. That's now gotten put in there. Perfect. So I think it could be a useful tool for getting ideas, and as you're driving around or whatever. It's not something that's recorded, right, Tanya? I mean,
Correct.
Once it's live, and once it's done, it's done. It's gone. It's not like you're getting it back. It's not like YouTube where you can go watch it anytime you want. So it's kind of when you're available, you can see who's on and who's talking and what topics are out there, right?
Yep.
Awesome.
A lot of times I just turn it on in the car or going from appointment to appointment to listen to.
Sure.
It's fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's very, very good. So anyway, I think it's interesting, and I know a lot of our agents are kind of tinkering with it. Now, the one thing that I will say too is that I have heard that like Facebook, can be quite a rabbit hole, right? So I have heard that we have, some folks have had to kind of put it aside and go, well, wait a second, I'm spending too much time listening to these things and not enough time actually doing my lead generation or other things that are actually actively building my business. But I think it's really sounds like it could be a good tool for getting ideas and information. John, it's free. It's a free app. Clubhouse, one word. You'll find it. Awesome. Thanks, Tanya. I really appreciate it.
Yep.
Janet, you got your hand up. What's up?
Yeah, I just wanted to let you know that I have some I can get you in if you want to come on Clubhouse.
Cool. Awesome.
I have some invitations I can give out.
Nice. Okay, awesome. CMA contest. We've got a drawing today, and we've got only 1 week left. If you have not gotten dialed into this, you got 1 week. Jump in, do it. Get involved in creating some CMAs for people that you know, whether you're going to be getting the listings or not anytime soon, past clients, friends, neighbors. One past year, I know this is one of my favorite things to talk about, but Diane, I know, put something out, said, hey, I want to do 10 CMAs this week. Who wants a CMA on their house? Who wants to know what their house is worth, right? And I think she got like 15 or something like this, right? And I think she had some business that came from that. So a lot of attention. Just find a way to create some CMAs and start having conversations with people about values of homes and selling their homes. With that, Nalani, would you like to do the drawing for week number 3 of our 4-week contest? Yeah. Tanya Lorella. Tanya, is Tanya in now 3 times? Is that right? Tanya is crushing it. How many CMAs are you doing, Tanya?
Tanya is doing a whole bunch. She is in her booty.
She is stuffing the box. I love it. Awesome. Well, there you go. I mean, Tanya's looking in good shape for that grand prize. Awesome. But one more week, Burian. Okay, West Seattle, what's going on, Russ?
Hey, good morning, everyone. Yep, last week we're getting a steady flow of CMAs coming through, so thank you, everyone.
Claudia, nice. Congratulations, Claudia. Fantastic. Okay, all right, there we go. One more week, you guys. Get your CMAs in and let's rock and roll. So Claudia and Tanya both receive a $50 gift card to Merrill and to do promotional items or whatever it is that they'd like to get from Merrill to support their business. That's awesome. And you'll get an entry into the grand prize drawing next week. Actually, no, the grand prize drawing is not next week. The grand prize drawing will be in the Burien only and West Seattle only meetings on May 11th. Next week, though, on the 4th, we will be pulling for the last entries, the last winners for that contest. So fantastic. All right, let's do some stats. Yeah. Cool. Stats are pretty stable, pretty much the same. Area 140, active listings 130. Spent 130, 127, 125, 124. Pretty darn steady. Area 130, Burien, You're looking at 70. Last week was 70, and that was up from kind of in the 50s before. So it popped up there a little bit and maintained the last couple of weeks. Area 120 continues to go up. They're only at 34 active listings right now. That's up for them. Right, they've been in the 20s. And Area 110, 31 active listings. So again, as you know, if we go south, inventory goes down, down, down. Active listings, what's going on for the MLS? Up year over year, but active listings last week, or week over week, last week to this week, did dip a little bit from 2,739 to 2,588. So about 150 listings there less right now this time this week than last week, but still up quite a bit from last year, right? We had a COVID situation, lockdown. We still have a COVID situation, but a lockdown situation last year. Pending stats, pendants are up as expected, but up a lot. They're up 1,000 pendant units more year over year. So that's great, obviously, right? Things are selling. We have limited inventory, but we've got things that are moving like hotcakes. That's good. Sold stats are up 500 year over year, and the median home price again ticked off another high, ever high, forever high, historical high, high. Catch another new listing. It caught a new high at 576,000 is the median for your MLS. So big numbers, continues to roll. We know what's going on. Now, I have heard a couple people that have been feeling like in the last week or so, something's in the air. Maybe a few less showings, things like that. But then I don't know that that's really accurate, because then I hear other people that are like, oh my God, I just had like all these showings and we can't even get people in. And so I don't know. It's a good time to remind people that the market obviously is moving in all kinds of directions at all times. And remember that our ecosystem of what we're dealing with, the buyers that we have or the sellers we have, remember that that is specific to that area, that price range, that house, right? Or that area that they're looking. It may not be totally indicative of everything that's going on in the marketplace, right? So looking at the numbers, paying attention to the stats is really, really important, especially as the market starts to kind of wane and do some different, not wane, but starts to move in some different ways. I think we really got to be careful and pay attention to that. With that, I'm going to hold the calendar because I don't have anything at the end of the meeting today. And I'm going to go to Mark Deniston for an update with Prosperity. What's going on over there, Mark?
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Tay. Not a lot today. Again, interest rates actually have been very steady this past week, basically about the same. So FHA last week was at 3. We're at 2.875 today for an FHA mortgage. Conventional is about 3.125. That's where it was last week. And VA is at 2.75. As I think most of you know, VA usually has the lowest rates of all three types of loans. I thought I'd mention something. I got a couple of new purchases over the weekend from the West Seattle office. Excuse me. With that said, I was kind of surprised. Both of them are putting 20% down, one on a condominium and one on a single family home, and both parties got appraisal waivers, which is great. I know one of them was above, at least one of them was above asking price, but we're starting to see that more and more, and I thought I'd just mention it. There's no rhyme nor reason, really. We assume that, of course, you need to have good credit. You always need to have good credit, but the better the credit, the better you look as far as Fannie and Freddie are concerned in the appraisal waiver world, as well as assets after closing. But with that said, my gosh, having an appraisal waived really it doesn't make it like a cash sale, because of course it's not all cash. They still got to be approved for the mortgage. They got to have their job when they close. But other than that, if you can get past the appraisal with a waiver like that, my gosh, you're halfway to cashing your commission check. And without having to worry about what could possibly happen, especially on ones where we've gone above asking. So other than that, that's about all I have today. Kara, do you have anything?
Nope, nothing. Thanks, Mark.
Okay,
Sounds
Okay.
good.
great.
Perfect. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bill, I don't know if you've got something today or not. We didn't talk ahead of time, but do you?
I do. I just real quickly, hey, and I just wanted to thank everyone for the referrals in the business. I really appreciate it. And I wanted to tell you guys something you may not know about home services insurance. We are not only one of the largest brokers in the country, but we are with some of the carriers that I write, like Travelers, Safeco, Mutual Enumclaw. We are the largest writers and have the most amount of business on the books with those carriers. We're the number one writer with Travelers in the country. We're number 3 with Safeco, and we're in the top 10 with Mutual Enumclaw. And you may wonder, well, what does that mean to me? How does that help me? How does that help my clients? And the way it helps your clients is in the event that they have a claim, whether it's a home or an auto, umbrella, sometime down the road, if that claim's going sideways and they're not getting the resolution that they want or they think they should get, they can contact me. I contact my boss back in Minneapolis. She picks up the phone and she'll call Travelers. She'll call Safeco. She'll call Mutual Enumclaw. Excuse my language, but she'll say, knock this crap off and get this thing done. Because we're bigger than the 800-pound gorilla. And that's really, that stands apart, I think, a lot with, with our clients. Insurance companies love to take our money. They love us when we're paying month after month. But, when we have that claim comes up, then that's when the rubber hits the road. And that's when people have a lot of issues. And I have seen great claims resolutions with our carriers just because of how big we are. So that's all I've got for you guys.
Awesome. Bill, thank you very much. And in all seriousness, I need you to send me an email. You did a side-by-side for me between my insurance carrier and what you were able to provide. I've got Allstate and I've had them for 20 years. Yep. And so you could save me quite a bit of money, but I felt like, oh man, I've always had the same auto insurance. But can you send me a list of all the things that I need? I am going to change over and start taking advantage of a discount. So I know that seems like weird that we're having the discussion right now, but I've been thinking about asking you what are the things you need from me? Because I'd like to redo that. That was a couple of years ago. So I'm pretty sure I'm getting jobbed right now. So I know I am. So at any rate, awesome. Thank you for that. And do please send an email. I appreciate it. Awesome. Okay. Last thing on our docket is calendar, but there's a lot here. So don't go anywhere. Get your phones out because we do got some cool stuff coming up. First thing, super cool. I'm on vacation starting on Thursday. I'm going to be gone for 4 days to Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm going to be going to Oregon for my oldest's. He has a baseball tournament down in Oregon. So we're going to go do that. And I am going to be out of pocket. So, of course, Russ, Nalani, you can reach out to them. Also, though, I thought this is a good opportunity to remind everybody, we do have an email address. And I do want you to put this in your phone so that you have access to it. If you ever can't if I'm on vacation or you can't get a hold of, whatever, Russ or Nalani, or they're not able to respond right away or whatever it is, we do have an email that goes to all the managing brokers in the North region where you can ask questions if you've got a contract question. And that email is transactionhelp@bhhsnwre.com. Write that down, put it in your phone, just so you've got it. Transactionhelp@bhhsnwre. You shouldn't need it this weekend. I don't imagine you'll be able to get a hold of people, but I just think it's a good reminder that is out there. We've had that for a number of years now, and I think it's underutilized. So anyway, it's there for you. What else? This Thursday, I just sent an email right before the meeting, maybe within the half hour before the meeting, about an event, a Facebook Live promoting local event that's Chris Stewart, I think, is doing, and it will be fantastic. It's 11 o'clock on Thursday, and we're actually going to show it live in each of the offices in the bullpens. So if you want to pop in on Thursday at 11 o'clock, bring your mask, and we will have that running live. This is all about how to promote local, right? What's going on locally in your area, and through that, building your own business. It has been extremely successful for a lot of folks. And like I said in that email, if you have been paying attention to the university classes or other things that we've been putting out there, there is a lot of attention on working on promoting local to build your own real estate business, which is super cool. That's Thursday. Next week for the sales meeting, we're going to do something a little different. Stay tuned. You're going to get an email on that soon. But I will be here next week. I was going to be gone, but I'm not going to be gone. I will be here. We will have more info for you on the sales meetings for next week. And then on the 6th, on May 6th, that's a Thursday from 1 to 4, we have a clock hour class with Amerispec. And that is called Homes Through the Ages. So information about homes of all different styles and eras, things that you need to know and pay attention to about those things. And of course, questions and answers will be available as well. Should be a great class, 3 clock hours, 1 to 4 on Thursday the 6th. On Wednesday the 12th from 10 to 11, we've got closing during COVID / stump the closer with equity, title and escrow. Krista and Kelly will be teaching that one. So again, you can put that on your calendar for some good informational title and escrow info with stump the closer and closing during COVID Wednesday from 10 to 11 on the 12th of May. The 19th of May, just 2 more. The 19th of May is a Wednesday from 10 to 11 is social media marketing number 2, part 2 with Teresa Giamatti. So if you went to part 1, back it up with part 2. If you didn't go to part 1, you can still check this out. There will be good information, things that you'll be able to take away and utilize in your social media marketing. So that's the 19th of May. It's a Wednesday from 10 to 11. And then the last one that I want to mention today is the 26th of May. It's a whole month away. But the 26th of May is a Wednesday from 10 to 1. We have another 3 clock hour class available to you called Using Creativity to Enhance Your Marketing. And that's with Natalie Danielson. So those of you that have had a Natalie Danielson class, you know you're not sleeping through Natalie's class. You're going to have a good time. It's going to be a lot of energy, good stuff on enhancing your marketing with Natalie Danielson. Again, 10 to 1 on the 26th, which is a Wednesday. And that, my friends, is all that I have got for today. I'm going to stop the recording. We'll do new and price reduced for those of you that would like to share.